Salutations, Voodoo here to bring you another $420 PC build list for the month of December. Christmas is here, and the new year is creeping right around the corner. The Arctic vortex is icing up the country, relatives are catching flights, and classes are letting out for the holidays. And let us not forget those sweet, sweet Steam sales. Exciting things are on the horizon in the tech world. Soon prices are going to fall, and the frames per second are going to soar when AMD roars onto the scene with its new Ryzen architecture. Meanwhile, we've got a few more months before parts hit the shelf, and I think we still have plenty of time for a quick build. So, let's tell Jack Frost to F off and kick boredom to the curb, PC Master Race style. Also, did I mention Steam sales? Unplug that crappy console, pray to Gaben for forgiveness, and get your internet package upgraded. Alright, let's see what heights of PC gaming glory we can achieve this month with a budget of around $420. Let's get started. First up, let's pick up an FX-8320E CPU. We've got 8 cores with a 4 GHz turbo right out of the box, with 16 total megs of cache. This sweet little gem of a chip is a direct competitor to the Core i3-6100. It's a bit slower in single-threaded applications, but it has some brute force power when it comes to multi-threading. When studying benchmarks between the 6100 and the 8320, we can see some very similar results, and our aging FX chipset even trades blows with the mighty i5 in certain applications. This processor is truly a legend of low-budget gaming. With Intel's Kaby Lake being a little lackluster and Ryzen not offering anything in the sub-$100 market, this puppy is still a decent value. It works well for some light productivity, and while being on a dead socket with no future upgrade path, it still makes a great rig as is at this price point. It's built on the 32nm Fisher architecture with a TDP of 95 watts. With a total of 16 megabytes of cache and a 4 GHz turbo clock, we should see a CPU mark of around 7500. And if we head on over to TechSpot and AnandTech, we can see performance results on par with an i3-6100, with our multi-threaded Cinebench R15 score being over 700 once overclocked. That is a lot of pixel pushing power for only $115. To house our chip, let's grab an MSI 970A G43 motherboard. This is a great low-cost socket AM3 board with an AMD 970 chipset. It supports up to 32 gigs of 2133 DDR3 memory in a dual-channel configuration. We've got 2 PCIe 16 slots, 2 PCIe 2.0 slots, and 6 SATA ports. Pretty standard for the 970 chipset. We've also got 2 USB 3.1 Generation 2 and 6 USB 2.0 ports. A few things I really do like about this are the 2 PS2 connectors, the clear CMOS jumper, and the fact we have 5 onboard fan connectors for ample cooling. Overall, a well-made board from a trusted company that's both cheap and durable. $63 and we are one step closer to gaming glory. Now, let's toss in a couple sticks of Klevv Neo memory. These 2 4GB DIMMs of DDR3 memory run at 2133 MHz with a cast latency of 10 and a voltage of 1.6. I've been using Klevv memory in my personal rig for a while now, and while I was skeptical at first, they have turned out to be quite a good buy. $44.99 for 8 gigs. Alright, on to storage. We need an SSD, and believe me, they are not all created equal. Let's go with an ADATA Ultimate SU800 128GB. This drive is fast and reliable. If you're going to be gaming hard on a drive, try to make sure it's MLC or SLC controlled, and if you can, splurge for a little 3D NAND, such as a Samsung Evo. Trust me, it'll serve you well. This drive has a sequential read and write of up to 560 megabytes and comes in under $50. This is more than enough drive for a few Steam titles, but if you're going to go crazy, I suggest grabbing a 512GB model if you can swing it. Now, our piece de resistance, our GPU. When selecting a GPU in this budget range, it's important to consider the total cost, including the power supply. That means it's pretty much down to the RX 460 and GTX 1050. Both are decent choices, but this time, I think we're going to go green. The MSI GeForce GTX 1050 is a great entry-level card for PC gaming. Its 2GB of GDDR5 running on a 128-bit bus with a boost clock of 1518 MHz offer a rather impressive effective memory clock of 7000. We've got our standard DVI HDMI and DisplayPort and a more than adequate cooler that is both quiet and keeps temps pretty low. This card runs cool and requires no additional power connectors, and its TDP is well under 75 watts. With 640 CUDA cores boosting to over 1500 MHz, this little dual-slot graphic solution packs a punch with up to 2 teraflops of performance. It measures only 6.9 by 4.6 inches and has a nice black color scheme. Expect 60 frames per second, 1080p medium to ultra settings in quite a few modern titles. This card is the rightful successor to the mighty 750 Ti and won't break our bank at $112. Time for our case. Let's go with a BitFenix Comrade ATX mid-tower case. This surprisingly well-made, low-budget case measures 185 by 470 by 428 millimeters and weighs in just under 12 pounds. We've got a total of 7 expansion slots and up to 4 128mm fans, providing plenty of airflow. It even has a very large and sexy side window to show off that silicone. It features a bottom-mounted power supply with its own fresh air, which can be very important when overclocking as not to add any extra heat into the mix. Overall, this case is pretty solid and an insane value at only $27. To finish off our rig, I've selected an EVGA 450-watt bronze certified power supply. This unit is a little bit of overkill for our system, but I want to leave headroom for overclocking and adding additional fans and hard drives. This power supply weighs a little over 5 pounds, so EVGA is definitely using some quality components here. This baby pumps out 40 amps on its single 12-volt rail and is whisper quiet with a 120mm sleeve-bearing fan. EVGA makes great power supplies, and this, or the 430, or even the 400-watt variant are all awesome choices. Pick one up for under $40. Now, let the AMD jokes begin, because before we finish off our list, I'd like to include this optional CPU cooler. You really don't need to get this, but if you'd like to overclock up to 5 GHz, I recommend some heavy-duty aftermarket cooling. This is a great solution from the industry-renowned experts at ARCTIC. With 36.4 cubic feet of airflow at 24 decibels, its PWM-controlled 92mm fan and 4 copper heat pipes can dissipate up to 200 watts of heat. That is some crazy cooling power. The Arctic Freezer 13 is seriously underrated and will give the Evo 212 more than a run for its money. This should keep our overclocked FX CPU silent and under 60 degrees. This cooler is a great addition to any build. That brings our grand total to just over $420. This system should perform quite well at 1080p with its 8-core FX processor and a GTX 1050 pairing well together. With a Firestrike score of over 6,000 and a Time Spy score of over 1900, this little black box is a true console killer. Plus it looks pretty badass with the red and black. A great build to close out a great year. Alright guys, this is going to be the final video of 2016, so I really want to take a second and thank all of you for being a part of my channel. This time of year is all about making memories and sharing them with the people you care about. You guys have been so freaking awesome since I started this YouTube hobby, and as far as I'm concerned, you are more than just subscribers, you are my friends. Feel free to drop any comments or questions below. Don't forget to blast that like button, and most of all, have a safe and happy new year. I'll see you again soon in 2017. Until then, game on.